Hey, it's Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid, and I'm back to doing some comic books today. And we have issue number 40, and look who that guy is. Yes, Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime returns, and also we get the introduction of the Pretenders. Lot of characters coming at you in these past issues, coming at you very fast. But we start off with Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime is leading the Mechabots against the evil Bombasticons. Yes. What is going on here? And it says the name of the issue is called Pretender to the Throne. Alright, so Optimus Prime is fighting with his Mechabots, defeating the Bombasticons, and what we're seeing here is Optimus Prime is actually in a computer game. And there's our friend Ethan Zachary. We remember him from issue number 24 when Optimus Prime decided to sacrifice himself because he went against his internal programming and used the creatures within the game to his advantage. And so even though Megatron cheated in the game, Optimus ended up being killed in real life. The two of them were hooked up to some Atari 2600 joysticks, and Ethan Zachary pushed Optimus's and blew them apart, issue 24. It was very sad. But he kept Optimus on a backup disc, and he's been using Optimus ever since as a player in this game of his. But lately he's been trying to get Optimus to remember his memories and unlock exactly who he is, because Optimus only believes that he is in a video game, and that's it, that he's a video game player. So we kind of go through all that in the second page there, talking about what happened here with Optimus and Ethan Zachary making that a video game backup. And here he has Optimus. Optimus is wired into a video camera, and he has Optimus take a look at what's happening in the newspaper, that there are robots that they've overrun a genetic research lab. That'll come into play later. And so, as Optimus is still believing that he's in a video game, Ethan Zachary is trying to get him to understand who he really is. And so, with that, he unlocks some memories about Buster Witwicky, and therefore Ethan Zachary starts making calls, tries to call around to find Buster Witwicky. So here, he's trying to see, do you recall these guys? He accesses the memory that they were in the Ark, and he played many games with those Autobot warriors. Then shows him Buster Witwicky's image. They end up getting a call out to Sparkplug Witwicky. And Sparkplug right now, he is not at all a fan of the Transformers in any way, shape, or form. Couple issues ago, he was like, "Oh yeah, Buster's fine. He's up playing with the Transformers and whatever, telling Spike that." But then Spike comes home, and he is now a headmaster, and he's basically Sparkplug says he's turned into a freak and that, and so we get exposition as to what has happened in the previous issues, where Sparkplug's home was destroyed by the Predacons and all the things that have happened to him. Back in issue number 4, where he had a heart attack, and how issue 39, Spike shows up as a headmaster. So 39, and he's like, don't ever call me again, Optimus Prime. I'm not going to help them whatsoever. And Optimus Prime says, "Some game players are sorer losers than others, Ethan Zachary." And when Sparkplug gets really upset. Meanwhile, out in space, we are on the ship which has been orbiting Earth, and I believe they don't talk about what the name of the ship is until issue number 41. But I'm going to give you a preview. I believe it's called Steelhaven, and that is the ship that the Headmasters are on. So the Headmasters are on this ship, and what's happening here is Brainstorm and Spike and a couple other characters. Let's see. A couple other characters are working on Fortress Maximus. They're working on fixing up Fortress Maximus, but they also had time to build Bumblebee a new body. So Bumblebee has gotten a body. They've intercepted a transmission let's see, how did they find out about this? Oh, Spike put a bug in Sparkplug's place, so they were able to hear the conversation that Ethan Zachary had with Sparkplug, and therefore Spike was going to go down and find out what's happening, but Spike is away from Fortress Maximus, who got trashed in the last issue, so they send down Bumblebee, who is Goldbug now. They send Goldbug down because Goldbug's one of his specialties is infiltration, and so he's gotten this new body and is going to test out the new body, and he ends up going down to Earth, and he goes into Ethan Zachary's place. I guess they left the loading dock door open, and Ethan Zachary talking to Optimus Prime. He meets Goldbug. Goldbug tells him about Prime, and Ethan Zachary tells him about Prime, and then Goldbug comes face to face with the computer-generated Optimus Prime. That's pretty good graphics for 1988. Yeah, this one was 88. So I was trying to think about, Optimus Prime is a computer-generated character. He's in a computer program in a video game, and Ethan Zachary actually left the Thermodynamics or whatever, and he made a video game company. And so pretty good for the guy. I'm just wondering how much of a computer he had in 1988, and trying to think back of what I had for a computer. We actually had Nintendo, the Super Nintendo NES, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, not Super Nintendo. We had that in 1985, so those had pretty decent graphics. I don't think that would have run the complexity of Transformers' mind, but suspension of disbelief. I know, I get a little too much into that. So they decide that what Optimus needs to get back to who he is that he needs to lead a mission of, against the Decepticons. And so what they're going to do is they're going to hack into that genetics lab, and Optimus Prime is going to go in as a virus and find out what's happening. So they have him kind of go transform and go through this to the genetics lab. I don't know. This is what happens in 1988. So they go out to this genetics lab. Optimus Prime drives in, and it's things that are happening inside a computer. That's what they are interpreting what it is. And so they have electronic safeguards, and let's see, Ethan. Oh yeah, Optimus still believes it's a game. He's saying that the Decepticons plan to use this information. Ethan Zachary planted this clue. He's a brilliant gamesman. And on the other side, at the genetics lab, we've got the Decepticons. And the Decepticons are there with the headmaster. So we got Scorponok, Lord Zarok, we've got Mindwipe, we've got Vorath. All those guys are here in this genetics lab. And then we have these other robots, and these other robots are, they're unnamed at the time. And so when they start to run this program, Optimus Prime gets, too much of a data surge and, overwhelming data surge. And at the same time, the six, the six robots that enter those tubes are now becoming genetically enhanced with flesh and over their robot bodies. So that is being created there. Optimus is getting that power surge, and he's got to hang on, and he taps into the output terminal and records exactly what's going on there. But there is an intruder alert. They figured there's a some sort of bug has got past the file wall. Not firewall, file wall. That's what they called it. So again, this is 1988 programming, and so that Vorath sends out a debugging sequence, and that is going to attack Optimus Prime. But Optimus heads back through the tunnel, and through the tunnel there are security measures through the tunnel to protect him, like Ethan Zachary put those in. So what's happening in those tubes? Well, what's happening in those tubes is they're creating the Decepticon Pretenders. Okay? Why Scorponok made these ugly, flesh and whatever characters, but he did. And he created those. So we've got Iguanus, Bombburst, Sub-Marauder, Skull-Grin, Bugly, Finback. So I took a look on eBay the other day to see what the Pretenders would go for, what people are selling them for. $40, $50. I never had any of the Pretenders. They didn't really do it for me. They didn't really make much sense to me in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so they were created here in this comic in issue number 40 of the Transformers. Never really saw them in the we never saw them in a cartoon or anything like that. There was a whole bunch of things being created for the comic that went along with the toy line. Not as much in the cartoons, which you thought, maybe the cartoons were made to sell the toys, and really they were, but the comic really had more of the actual toys doing things in them. So that's pretty interesting. Optimus gets back over to their place with Ethan Zachary's computer games, and actually his computer game company is called Alternate Reality Incorporated. And so comes back through, he's recorded the program, the Pretender program, and so what they need to do is continue this mission. They think that the Decepticons are going to be coming, which they probably are. They probably traced where they are, and they're going to be coming. So the Autobots are going to create their own Pretenders. And luckily there's a whole bunch of guys still back up on Steelhaven, the ship that the Autobots from Cybertron left, and so there could be any number of guys up in that ship. So there are at least 6 more, and they are going to become the Autobot Pretenders, and they are the 6 volunteers. And we have, let's see, I can't really read them, but I'll read them afterwards. So here are the 6 Autobot Pretenders in their tubes, and they are going to be made into Autobot Pretenders. And so we've got Landmine, Cloudburst, Wave Rider, Groundbreaker, Skyhigh, and Splashdown. Landmine is going to be the leader of the Autobot Pretenders. And so, let's see. So Optimus sends up the data to make them into the Pretenders. Their chambers fill with synthesized protoplasm, enveloping the Autobots within. Okay, so that gets done, and they near the completion of that procedure. And Optimus Prime has to go back through the file wall again and bait a trap. Get the Decepticons to come to them so that they can fight this mission. So Optimus then heads back through the computer into where the Decepticons are, and we'll see what happens there. Optimus heads back through the computer, and immediately they get an intruder alert. So he says that the bug is back, Scorponok. Let's make sure he's dumped permanently this time. Scorponok says, no, this visitor has returned for a reason. There's more happening. So plug me into the computer and he'll find and destroy the visitor. I guess these guys can just jack into any computer and, work inside. And at the same time, the Pretenders go out on their first mission, the Decepticon Pretenders. And the Decepticon Pretenders, outside of this genetics lab, there's the army, and they basically just kill everybody. They're talking about how each of their weapons can do certain things, and you don't see it happening, but basically, my slag maker will make puddles of all your feeble weapons, you feeble fools. Let's see. My grease blower should only turn you to scrap fleshlings as it does your vehicles. That doesn't make any sense. Only you as your vehicles. They basically talk about all of their weapons and how they can, kill everybody. Back in the computer, Scorponok is in there, and he sees Optimus Prime leaving, and he follows along there. Well, actually, that's his body there. So he gets the coordinates of where Optimus Prime is, and he sends them to the Pretenders, and the Pretenders are going to head out to where Optimus is originating from. So the Alternate Reality Incorporated video game company. The Pretenders fly in. Well, at least some of them who can fly, they fly in and they carry in some of the other guys. So all the 6 Pretenders come in, and they notice that there are 6 fleshlings standing out there. And look, there are 6 really gigantic humans standing outside. And so, they don't know much about that, so they know that they're humans, and what they're going to do is they're going to attack the fleshlings, and, the Autobot Pretenders say, those don't look like Decepticons, and then Landmine says, we don't look like Autobots. Cloudburst, we still have our orders, so he's like, we have to retreat. Retreat, we're under attack, to make it seem like, that's what humans would do, is they would run away from these Decepticons. So they run away from the Decepticons, and just enough time, Optimus Prime tells him has told them that he wants them to retreat, and then Optimus tells them, this is Optimus Prime, Autobot Pretenders, pretend no more, your attackers are surely convinced of your cowardice by now. And so they reveal and roll out. And so apparently when Pretenders split apart and reveal, the shell and the robot can both attack. So I guess they're remote controlled or whatever, but suddenly the Decepticon Pretenders say that they're outnumbered 2-1. And that means that there was only 6 Autobot Pretenders, there's 6 Decepticon Pretenders, the Autobots burst open, and so now both the shells and the robots are fighting the Decepticons, as we can see here, making use of the blue and the red for the Decepticons, blue for the Autobots here, and they end up fighting. They're getting their mission help from Optimus Prime, because Optimus Prime, his optic sensors are jacked in directly to Goldbug's. Goldbug is watching this, and Optimus is giving the instructions to the Pretenders. And so as he's giving those to the Pretenders, we remember at the beginning, Goldbug got a new body, and the new body is completely untested, and apparently he's mentioned, I don't know how many times he's mentioned about eyes anywhere. So, Goldbug is, his eyes for Optimus Prime. He says, he mentions like eyes a number of times throughout this whole comic. So let me find the specific, ones here. And it's definitely some foreshadowing here. And, let's see. Yeah, he does say something about him being eyes there. But anyway, it made me think of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because the episode where they face down the Nathan Fillion character, and Xander is saying a whole bunch of times, like, go for the eyes, everything has eyes, something to eye, this eye, and then he finally gets one eye poked out. And, it's totally foreshadowing and everything happening up until that point. And I'm sorry that that's a spoiler for a show that's, 20 plus years old at this point. So Bumblebee, he's got an optical malfunction. Optimus loses the ability to see what's going on in the fight, and the Pretenders start to get trashed by the Decepticons. They had no fighting ability of their own, really, honestly, okay. So what happens here is now Optimus Prime is inside the computer, and he's basically like he's stuck in a static cloud, and Scorponok is coming after him, but Scorponok figures that he can take him. Then the Autobots are getting trashed out there. Let's see, we come back in. Scorponok starts firing after Optimus and trying to attack and destroy Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime, he gets hit, but at the same time, he said, your efforts are meeting with some resistance, Scorponok. And basically, they laid a trap for Scorponok, and they trap him, within the video game or the computer. They hit a massive data surge, and it disables Scorponok, and he gets overloaded. His brain circuits are on fire, and Zvoraf pulls him back to his body. Scorponok is out of the computer, and Optimus tells him that the Decepticon commander is defeated, launch your final offensive, and the Autobot Pretenders, they attack, and their fight is overwhelming to the Decepticon Pretenders. They retreat, and Goldbug and Zachary, Ethan Zachary talk to Optimus Prime, that your strategy is brilliant, you won a great victory, and said, "You and the Autobot Pretenders deserve all the credit, Goldbug. It was your faith and courage that carried the day." Now Optimus then says, "I must admit though, the recent events have helped crystallize my purpose. My reason for being is suddenly clear to me." And Goldbug says, "This whole thing is working. Interacting with the Decepticons has sparked his old memories. Optimus Prime, do you feel a change within you?" And Optimus Prime says, "I certainly do. I know what it now means to be a warrior, a leader. Like never before. I will never forget, never." And then in the last line here, he says to Ethan Zachary, right there, "So when do we start the next game?" So clearly he is not back to full Optimus Prime strength. He does not know who he is clearly, but he does know that he is a leader, he's a warrior, and we're on the road. We're on the road to get Optimus Prime back. And it's great to see this happening. Let's see, it was issue 24 when he was destroyed. Now he's back, kind of, and it's good to see that because we need to get Optimus Prime back into the issues, and I'd like to see that. Anyway, this is Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Big Damn Kid. You can also find me at BigDamnKid.com, where I do a write-up of all of these issues. I'm a little behind on that. I have not had time to do the extensive write-ups that I've been doing for each individual issue, but I will get to that. I want to keep up with the videos, though. Make sure that we get the videos going so that everybody can see what's happening with all of the issues. And, yeah, hey, I love it if you like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the different issues and how I'm doing it. And, hey, thanks for watching.